Today we are going to install a vinyl windows in a brick home. First of all, we need to check to make sure before we order the windows we do proper measurements. You want to measure from the bottom and the top separately because sometimes the centers can bow a little bit. So your true measurements are going to be your bottom and your top. Always measure your width first and then your height. Okay? So we have a 6-foot opening. It should be okay here. All right. And you want to take your highest point possible so you know where you need to be at. And this is 5 foot. And again, on this corner, it looks like we're a little bit high. We're 59 3/4, so got a little bit more of an opening. So technically what we're doing is we're gonna order our windows, or this particular window is going to be a 6.0 by 5.0. And you want to get yourself to where you're actually going to be 59.5 inches by 71.5 inches. So you have some variance and movement. You don't want the tolerances to be too tight, otherwise you'll have a really hard problem getting the windows in. Okay, step one, we need to remove the screws from the center support. Okay? Step two, we're going to remove the window. And how you do this, you grab both sides and you lift up, and that should give you enough room to pull the bottom out. Store in a safe place because this old glass is not tempered, so it'll break into pieces. And if you have any children, pets, or anything around, you obviously want to put it in a safe place to make sure nobody gets hurt. Okay, so now let's go ahead and remove this center support. It's gonna be kind of in here a little bit, so it's gonna take a little bit of. You want to do it from the bottom first because this is an easier spot to There we go. There's your center support out. Now we can move and get rid of this standard part, or what they call your X part of the window. This should be able to slide back and forth and then pop out due to the age of the window, and most likely it's probably stuck in place. So you just got to give it a little bit of persuasion and there we go. And she's out. Now, if you like demolition, here comes the fun part. So take your knife. It looks like we got a nice little bead on the inside here, so let's cut the previous caulking on the inside so we don't damage the drywall. Get ourselves some pry points so we can get this thing out of here. One more at the top. I usually do the center points. Makes it a lot easier to bust the window down and get a good access. There we go. All right. If you have a pry bar, something like this is obviously pretty heavy duty, maybe a little bit of overkill, but it actually works out very well. You can get a couple of those other pry bars at your local hardware store that have a hook around it and also an edge like this at one end. This one's really kind of like for breaking up dirt and stuff like that, but we found that by taking the windows out, this works very, very well. Right out here. Okay, you're gonna end up with a little bit of damage on your wall, but nothing like a little bit of repair is gonna take care of it, and which is very minimal in consideration. Okay, looks like we're in a pretty good shape to be able to start getting this out of here. There we go. Once you get one side out, rest of it usually seems like it'll come out pretty good. You just kind of just pry on it and move it out, and there you go. Now that we have the frame out, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean up the sides. As you can see, we've got edges from the previous sealant that has been kind of surrounding, plus you've got a lot of the mortar mix on the inside here that is, you know, past where the window is going to be. So we need to chip all of this away and make sure that we get all of it off, so we've got a really good surface to be able to slide that window in and really not have a big problem trying to get that in there. So really the key to doing the installation is make sure you've got a good prep job, and the installation will go pretty smooth. Okay, so now that we got everything chipped away, we got all the prep done on the window, we want to measure this and make sure our opening is wider than what the actual window is, just so it'll slip in there nicely. So let's go ahead and measure this. Again, we want to do the bottom first. Make sure we're good at the top here. And we are really good. We're actually at 60 or 72 inches. The window, as I said previously, you want the overall width to be a ½ of an inch smaller. So we've got a ½ inch clearance on our width. So we're in really good shape for that. Let's measure our height from corner to corner. And we're exactly 60 inches there. And about 59 3/4 there. So we got a little high spot in the corner. That's okay though, because the window measures 59.5. So we have actually a little bit of room to be able to do that. I'm actually going to chip that away so it's the same on both sides, so the window's not out of square.